Hello everyone, Gregory Simargle Electro. This is a review of the final version of the electric UTV Cheetah. At the end of 2025, I already filmed a review of the prototype, and after that, we and the factory worked hard on its refinement before releasing it into production. By the way, if you haven't watched the previous video yet, the link will be in the description. I highly recommend watching it because in this video I will only talk about the changes and fixes that have occurred over the last 6 months. So put it on pause and go ahead and watch the previous video. Watched it? Then let's continue. We have been working with China for 7 years now, and we know that the most important thing about a factory is how it communicates in terms of improvements and corrections of what already exists. The technical specifications that the engineer of this factory put together consisted of more than 30 points, and they fulfilled 99% of them. Let's start with what they changed or added. New frame and plastic colors have become available. The frame can now be ordered in black, green or blue, and the plastic in grey, white or green. They changed the main display. Now all the settings are in English. Previously some text was in Chinese and it wasn't entirely clear what to press there. And they also made deeper settings. A little bit about the final display. It might not be super visible because there's a film on it right now. I'm not going to open it. Look. First, let's go to the home page. Here we have car management, differential lock, Bluetooth, CarPlay, and everything else. We are specifically interested in car management because it has been changed. First, in the settings, I've changed the language to English now. You can switch between English and Chinese. And I want to show you what can be configured here. Drive modes, comfort, eco, sport, EPS, which is the power steering, its, let's say, stiffness for turning, its assistance, light, medium, heavy. The maximum speed limit and 80 limit can be set. It's currently set. Acceleration, that is the acceleration dynamics, is currently set to 100% of what's possible. HDC, this is a little thing we have, assistance for uphill and downhill. So we press off on it and this icon disappears from the display. Press on and it appears again. I've already shown how it works. Repair is a mode for fixing things. Braking is the strength of the electric motor braking. And 2WD, 4WD, switching between two-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. That is, you can drive in rear-wheel drive or you can drive in all-wheel drive. These are the settings available by default in the Cheetah on the display. You can also look at car info. It shows everything possible here. Battery, voltage, temperature. In short, everything you want, the cells. Basically everything. Fault info is error codes, so that factory engineers can analyze what kind of breakdown you have. This is how it looks. In my opinion, this is the most fully loaded UTV with the most detailed and in-depth settings. It's really very well done. They added a rear view camera, designed from scratch, and added a rear bumper. Added roof-mounted headlights, installed end caps in the front bumper, added a remote for the winch, installed cargo hooks for securing loads, added an electric wiper to the front windshield, added hill start assist and descent control, added the ability to switch between rear and all-wheel drive. Before, you could only drive with four-wheel drive permanently on, added separate locking for the front and rear axles. It can be engaged separately, front or rear, or together, and also placed 2 handy buttons to the left of the wheel, and added convenient handles on the door arch. Now let's go over what's been fixed. Eliminated door play in the closed position. Made the handle in front of the passenger more reliable. Fixed the falling front glove box lid, now it's secured on hinges. Fixed the upper glove box mount. Before, the lid was very flimsy and wobbled a lot. Fixed the lock in the truck bed cover. Fixed the play in the charging port door. Fixed the armrest play when folded. Installed plugs in the empty spots where there are no buttons. And most importantly, eliminated turbo lag during a sudden start. Among the future features of the electric UTV Cheetah, a front window lift awaits us in August. And in December, new doors that will form a fully enclosed cabin. Anyway, testing the Cheetah off-road for the first time, they took us to some park and immediately showed us the steepest hill here. We could barely walk up it. The main problem here is that it has a clay base. Wow, no way! Okay, the hill start assist is on. I thought it would only work on the climb, but it's also on the descent. Right now, I've let go of everything. I'm not pressing any pedals, no gas, no brakes, and it's descending as slowly as possible. Man, that's really cool. This is a mega cool option. And the craziest part is over there. I don't know if the camera captures it, but visually it just looks like a sheer wall going up. Yeah. It would be fine if there wasn't clay at the bottom. With the clay down there, it just ruins everything. Now we're going to try to climb up. That's just... Oh man, there is definitely plenty of torque to spare, no doubt about it. Whoa, okay, well that was actually unexpectedly easy, I have to say. On the Cheetah, as you probably know, there is no mechanical low range. It has two motors, I think 15 kilowatts each. No mechanical low range, but we just flew up that hill like it was nothing at all. I didn't even really step on the gas pedal. I am actually surprised. Really cool. What else about the driving feel? We are driving over very uneven terrain right now. The suspension works great, there is no shaking. Everything is very soft and pleasant. Oh, there is another awesome climb over there. Okay, this time I will try not to push the gas too hard. Ugh, man. Having the trees splash in your face is not great. Alright, come on. Speed is 6 kilometers per hour. I am intentionally not hitting the gas. Oh, we slid into a ditch. Man, this thing has so much power. Anyway, we are at a speed of 5 to 6 kilometers per hour. On a clay slope with rocks, it is wet. It rained recently, plus there is a ditch that the wheel fell into. We made it up like it was nothing without a low range. That is very cool. Just do not get aggressive. Okay, we have driven around enough here, tried different hills. Now I want to try a calmer hill. Here we have a dirt road, gravel road, what is the right word for it? Basically a stony surface with pebbles. I want to try it at minimum speed in sport mode. Reminder, there is no mechanical low range here. And we have a hill start assist system here, by the way. That is why we do not roll back down the hill. Let us try it. Okay. Two kilometers per hour, which is a moderate walking speed. 1 kilometer per hour. It is pulling, it is pulling. The number even dropped to 0. Anyway, for those worried about torque without a mechanical low range, without a mechanical low range, there is plenty of power to spare here. 0 to 1 kilometer per hour, we are climbing the hill in all-wheel drive in sport mode. Obviously, if you lower the mode, say to eco or comfort, you will have less torque, and it might not be enough for a slope like this, but in sport, it handles it with no problem. Okay, let us also see what the arches look like and how they work. Look, all our wheels are covered in clay. This is what it all looks like. And look, if you look at the arch like this, you can barely see any mud. If we look inside, it's all covered in crap. That's how it looks. Same thing with the rear arch. The wheels are filthy, the whole tread is just clogged up. There's minimal mud here, just some splashes from the puddles we drove through. But if you look under the fender, it's all covered in mud. So on the Cheetahs, the fenders protect from mud really well, in my opinion. Well, judging by this picture. Yeah, fire. This car is fire. It's just top notch. We tested that 350 volt UTV together, and even that didn't give this kind of feeling. Power. And control over the road too. The suspension on that 350 volt UTV is lower and has less travel. And there's no such joy in driving it. I mean, it doesn't feel that soft if we compare it to cars, for those who know like when you drive a Lixiang, it's soft, it floats like a ship. This is the Lixiang of UTVs, just a Lixiang. Although the price, like the Lixiang, is more like that 350 volt UTV we tested. They cost quite a lot, but this one's cheaper and cooler at the same time. We're trying it now on, I don't even know what to call it. On a wasteland. Anyway, let's see what it can do. And by the way, here's what I want to try. Okay, let's pull away. I want to see if it'll drift in rear wheel drive. Of course, in rear wheel. Main thing is that the 360 camera doesn't fall off. Is it on down there? And here is some sand for you. Well, it kicks in nicely. The electric brake is noticeable, by the way. Now we'll turn it down. Car management. Let's set the braking to maybe 40%. This is how I want to drive. Wow, look at that. It really kicks better than the 350 volt ones, I think. So, the moment of truth has arrived, as they say. Oh, the 360 is all covered in mud. Oh well. So I wanted to set it to two-wheel drive without the lock. Sport. And I need some sand. By the way, in two-wheel drive it became more calm, I guess. Yeah. Well, yeah. It doesn't exactly drift sideways, but it left a good circle here. So, switching back to all-wheel drive. And let's go for a couple more laps. Zero to 60. That's right. 1, 2, 3. .7 seconds. It's really tearing it up with wheel spin. And one more time. By the way, the turning radius is nice. Once more. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Seven. Okay, let's do a third measurement. 4.07, 4.77. So 1, 2. Let's go. One, two, three. Okay, let's get going now. And its average is about 4 and a bit seconds. That's really cool. The final downsides that can be highlighted for the electric UTV Cheetahs, there are probably only two. The first downside is that there is currently no enclosed cabin. It will be available in December, as I already said, but still, for Russia, an enclosed cabin is very important, and we can judge by our orders, probably more than half of the clients order UTVs with an enclosed cabin. And the second drawback of the electric Cheetah UTV is the fact that unfortunately there is no two-row version available just yet. Therefore, if you are looking for a long UTV that seats 4 or 5 people, then unfortunately you will have to choose from different models. And now that the electric Cheetah UTV is finally ready for mass production, it can be compared to its competitors. In terms of power, the only UTV that can at least somewhat compete with the Cheetah is probably the electric UTV from the Van Long factory. The difference is that it belongs to a more premium segment, and in terms of price, they are about 25% more expensive for roughly the same specs. But there are some nuances. First of all, the Van Long has significantly fewer settings, meaning you can't customize the UTV as extensively to select all the driving modes, set up the recuperation, adjust the acceleration dynamics, or limit the maximum speed. Unfortunately, none of that can be done. And secondly, the Van Long has a very small ground clearance compared to the Cheetah. The Van Long, as far as I recall, has only about 20 centimeters in total. But the only advantage, as mentioned in the previous point, is that the Cheetah lacks a two-row version, whereas the Van Long has one. Therefore, if you need a very powerful UTV of premium quality, unfortunately the Cheetah can only provide a single-row two-seater, or perhaps even a three-seater version at this time. However, if you need something longer for 4 or 5 people, then you should look towards the Van Long UTV. And the closest competitor in terms of quality, besides the Van Long we already discussed, is the Candy Cowboy UTV, or Candy Innovator, as they named it after the restyling, which is very close in quality to the Cheetah UTV. Yes, they are similar in quality, but in all other parameters, the Candy loses completely because it is smaller in size, has a smaller cabin, less power, less off-road capability, and less ground clearance, basically in everything else. Therefore, if you are looking specifically for a high-quality UTV and do not need something large, off-road capable and powerful, then you can consider the Candy. If, however, you need something more powerful, then the Cheetah UTV is the only way to go. So, let us briefly summarize who we actually recommend the electric Cheetah UTV to. If you do not have a strict budget constraint and at the same time you need a high-quality UTV that is quite powerful and spacious, then this is probably the only option that might suit you. If you are looking for something more budget-friendly, then yes, unfortunately, this will not work. Or if you happen to need a two-row version, that is also not an option. In all other cases, the Cheetah is simply top-notch right now. Another very important point is that just like with the Raison Bohemia electric motorcycles, we will be organizing a dealer network for the electric Cheetah UTVs starting this year. So if you want to have such a cool electric UTV in your product range, probably the best of the electric UTVs that can be bought in principle right now, then please contact us. All the links and all the contacts will be in the description. After watching this review, if you know of any electric UTV that would be better than the Cheetah, please write about it in the comments. And don't forget to follow us on any social media so you don't miss out on the latest in electric motor technology. Grigory was with you. See you in the next videos.